And good morning, folks. We're up at Rob's Dyno Service, Gardner, Mass, doing an oil change, filter change on the new Aprilia RS660 race bike. And we're also going to show you something that people have been having problems with, and that's the oil check valve in inside the oil pan. And what's happening is the check valve is backing off, falling out into the oil pan, starving the engine for oil, and then you end up with a junk engine. So I've spoke to a few people about it. A lot of people either just go in and retorque it and make sure it's torqued well, or they safety wire it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to safety wire it. I'm going to try and get all of that on video so you get to see what's going on. And maybe if you're riding an RS660, this is something you haven't looked at yet. It may be something you want to look at, just to make sure. Also, I'm going to make sure that when I have the filter out, I'm going to make sure the nut underneath the filter is tight and torqued properly, because those have been known to be a little bit loose, and then you get a leak around the oil cooler, which sits underneath the oil filter. So we'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and start getting this oil pan off. Getting the oil pan out, there's one problem. There's one bolt here toward the front that kind of gets in the way of your exhaust. Now, it'll come all the way out. It's just whether or not I'm going to be able to get the oil pan out with that bolt stuck in there. Otherwise, I'm going to have to remove the exhaust, and I would prefer not to do that. But I've got one bolt left, and then I can take the pan out, hopefully. We're going to catch this on video if I can't. And we can. Not by much, but we can get it out. Alright, so the oil pan's removed. I'm going to swap over to the GoPro underneath so you can see exactly what I'm talking about with the oil check valve. Alright, so I've removed the oil pickup, which just sits in here like so. And this is the check valve. And what I'm going to try and do, I checked the torque on it, and the thing is in there. I can't see how that's going to come undone, because it has got like gorilla torque on it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a little hole through one of the points between two of the flats, and then I'm just going to safety wire it to the I'll drill a little hole here in the oil pickup. Even though it's plastic, there's no pressure on it. This is nothing more than just a safety thing, just to make sure that this doesn't come loose. All right, so I was able to drill some holes for safety, and this may not be the way you would do it, but this is the way I'm doing it. Only because this safety is just a peace of mind. I actually safetied the bolt, or the nut portion of the relief valve, to the oil pickup. Now, the oil pickup doesn't sit in there very tight. There doesn't need to be any pressure on this. All this is going to do is just keep that from back. If it starts to back off, it's going to keep it from backing all the way off and dropping into the pan. So, you know, a little peace of mind, something I don't have to worry about. I don't know. I'm sure some people are going to say, oh, that was stupid. You should have done it this way or done it that way. But you know what? I've got master mechanic Waylon Dempsey here with me, and we conversed about it, and we looked at it, and he said, you know what? It doesn't matter. There's not going to be any pressure on it. It's not going to pull the oil pickup out of the way. So just do it with a loose safety wire and call it good. And that's what we did. All right, so that was pretty much it. It was pretty simple. Didn't have to remove the heads. I was able to get that front bolt out without too many problems, so the head pipes didn't have to come off. Got it out, safety wired it, as you've seen. Just a little peace of mind. There haven't been a lot of reports of that happening, but there have been a few. And the last thing I need is to lose oil pressure during a race. So that's going to wrap that up. Next, we're going into the dyno room, where Rob's going to be dyno testing my SV650 after Waylon just rebuilt the whole top end on it. Stock bore, JEs, degreed in the cams, new valves, everything's all set. It's had a few heat cycles, and he's going to go ahead and tune the motor now, make sure everything's good to go for this year. So we'll be back with the dyno tuning.